You're listening to
Don't Take This Personally, a podcast about the business of creativity.
We are your hosts, wedding photographers, entrepreneurs, and friends, Cami Oliveria.
And Gabe Conover. Now let's get into it.
Let's get into it. And don't take it personally, whatever we're about to say.
Yes.
Don't. Do not take this personally. Welcome back
to ASMR.
To Soft Jams Business Talks with Gabe and Cami.
Nothing soft.
No, nothing soft. Nothing soft about this, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, anyway, welcome back to another episode. This is probably going to be one of our most relevant episodes
We've
to
got
the
a
times.
pep talk for you.
Yeah, it's one that I love and hate, but it's good. It's good.
Let's get through this without getting angry.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
Yeah, let's
or
make
depressed.
Let's make it mostly positive.
Okay. So today we're going to talk about the future of social media. So TikTok and Reels. How much we hate them. I mean, how much we should use them to our advantage to make more money.
Yep.
And this is something that I feel like a lot of us are slowly coming to the realization of, is that we need to get with the times.
Why should we care?
Why should we care? Why should we be, adapting our social media presence into video format? I mean, short answer is just the reality that it's obviously the most popular thing right now. If you are not on TikTok, now is the time to be on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I know if those of you that are hesitant, your first impression is probably like, no, but it's so cringe over there. And it's just so stupid. Nothing is funny. Nothing is cool over there. Well, you know what? You're wrong. Because unfortunately, that is aging yourself.
Yeah, my relationship with TikTok is very complicated.
Yeah. You see, I'm at this weird middle ground where I was born in 1996, which is literally when millennials stopped and Gen Z started.
So funny.
So I don't really know. I guess I identify a little bit better with both.
Yeah,
but I also have a little bit of
children. By the time you're 18, you're at this point an honorary millennial.
That's also
you're
true.
more of an adult than me. It feels like you own a house, you have multiple businesses. Let's be straight up about this.
But part of me wants to be a Gen Z.
Life experience pushes you into millennialhood.
There you go. I wear more skinny jeans too than Gen Z wants me to. So.
But it's probably okay for guys.
That's true.
Ironically.
It's just women.
It's just women. We're being canceled for skinny jeans. Okay, so you had a really interesting thing to say about ads.
Ads. Oh.
Ads are...
Yeah, so something that I've noticed recently is, the biggest thing, number one, is that our generation and the newest generation does not do cable. They don't do normal TV type streaming services that we were used to when we were younger, where we had Disney Channel and Nickelodeon and stuff like that. So we didn't get this, they aren't getting this cycle of ads from cable TV and stuff like that.
So interesting.
So where they're getting most of their ads are from social media platforms, streaming services like Hulu and Netflix and stuff like that. And what I'm noticing is becoming more and more popular is ads that are just as relatable to the consumer as possible. So a lot of them are being filmed on iPhones.
So wild.
Which is really interesting. And a lot of them are being filmed vertically so that you see them on your TikTok app or on in Instagram and stuff like that through stories. Mm-hmm. All of these ads are being filmed in a different way to the point where it looks as realistic as possible, or also is just as entertainingly relatable as possible.
Yeah, adapt or die. We say a lot in this household.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
So the reality of social media is that it's taking a very an approach that is much more video dominated.
Totally. And as wedding photographers, why should we give a shit about this topic?
Because Gen Z is at the age where they're getting married now.
They're our next generation of clients.
Yeah, so I don't know what it is this year, but over the last couple of years, the average age to get married was somewhere between 27 and 30.
Mm-hmm. That sounds right.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
So if Gen Z is 1996/7 onward, that means that these people are my age, 24/25, which is still considered to be a little young to get married, but people get married at that age all the time.
So yeah, in the next handful of years, this is going to be our you know, a huge chunk of our next wave of clients
Totally.
are in the Gen Z demographic. I, for the first time, feel like I'm in an age now where most of my clients are younger than me.
Wow.
Which is really interesting. Because
That is
I
interesting.
started this so young, just like you know, I
Yeah.
started right around the time I was graduating college, and for a long time I felt so young compared to my clients, and
Yeah.
now more and more I'm like older than them, which is a funny shift to be experiencing.
That is funny.
Yeah, or they're like my exact same age, whereas like before I felt really young
Yeah.
to my clients.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed too more recently where I'm just like interacting with people who are closer in age to me than before.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Wow, that is a very interesting point.
Something you said when we were discussing this is a little reality check for the times. Facebook is 17 years old.
Oh my gosh, I forgot we talked about
Can you
this.
believe this?
That's
and
crazy.
Instagram is already 11 years old. So,
Woo!
and you said something that's really important to keep in mind is social media targets the newest generation.
Yes.
And the newest generation,
Because the newest generation uses social media the most.
yes, because they're the highest consumers.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad we're talking about this because I'm pretty resistant to a lot of this. And then if you listen to our last, this one's gonna come out first. So Gabe and I had a little meeting about some episodes we're recording right now last week. And last week I was so grumpy as we were talking about this topic, and I was like, I'm mad. I hate all of this. I'm mad. And I'll tell you why I'm mad in a second. And then over the week, I was like, Cami, how much do we preach in this household about adapt or die? Adapt or die, adapt or die. And so I had a little reality check this last week when I was like thinking about my reaction to us talking about this, and was like, Cami, don't be old. You know, adapt or die. We talk about this all the time.
You know, it's so funny that you say that too, because in one of our first episodes we talk about, I have a story with some like guests at a wedding who used to be wedding photographers back when film was like the main cameras that were used, and that they like got really mad when all these digital cameras started taking over, and they just started like, we're done with this. And I was like, that's what you're experiencing.
I know. I
in a different way.
So easily.
Yeah.
I'm on that threshold right now where I could be like, fuck this. I'm not willing to do this kind of advertising to keep doing this. So I guess I'm just going to age out. But I'm not willing to let that happen.
Yeah. Good for you.
So
amen.
So yeah, I'm glad we had to wait a week to record this because I feel like I'm in a better mindset about this now. But stay tuned for next week. You will hear why we had a funny moment where we had a meeting to record last week and didn't record.
Yes.
So you will find out next week.
You'll learn.
But we recorded the next one first. But this is so relevant. I said, Gabe, this one has to come out first.
It has to come out
it has to
quickly.
come out because you have to get on this immediately.
Yeah.
So we got to adapt and jump on what's next, especially if we want to grow as business owners, just straight up.
Right.
So get on board with video content and do it immediately. Kind of thing.
So it's always interesting to see, like, you know, what the next social media, I guess, app is going to be that takes over everything. Because, I mean, Facebook is not nearly as relevant as it was before. It still is relevant, but like MySpace, you know, was like the #1 thing for a while.
Yeah.
And then Facebook took over MySpace, and then Instagram took over Facebook.
Well, I just want to remind everyone, I've said this in a previous episode, when I started photography, Facebook was my primary marketing strategy.
Yeah.
I got most of my work from my Facebook page, whereas now it's been like 5 years since anyone has said they found me because of Facebook.
So interesting.
So that was just another thing over the last week. I remembered that I was like, Cami, get your head on straight about this. You went through this with Facebook when you were adapting to Instagram stories. Instagram stories used to make me feel this way.
Oh, that's so true when they came out. Yeah,
I felt the
that's
same
a
way.
great point.
So that's why I'm now getting more softened to this, because I remember 5 years ago when Instagram stories came out, I had the same reaction to like, oh, now I have to feel the pressure to be posting all day and like post
That is
personal
such a great
stuff. I'm
point.
not a person, like I don't want to post my personal stuff. I'm not interesting, whatever.
That is such a great point.
And
Good for
so
you.
I can recognize that I had the same realization. I went through the same process about stories, so I can do it again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah, no, it's so true. And then now, you know, Instagram is much different from Facebook, and now TikTok is much different from Instagram, and I was telling Cammie that the reason that video is so popular right now is because it pleases multiple senses.
Well, yeah, you guys, it's no secret we're all fucked, like mentally from like overstimulation. So like now like more and more nothing is becoming enough for us. So it makes sense that now, I mean, I'm scared for what's next. I don't know.
Think about it from this way too. Like most TikToks, what they'll do is they'll record the TikTok where they're actually talking and stuff like that, and then they'll also have captions over it. So you can either just read it or you can listen to it or you can do both.
Which I do think is good. I like that.
It makes sense because a lot of us are normally in situations where we don't want to be playing like, you know, a sound from our phone. But it's also just another thing that like is just pleasing more than just like our sight. Like it's like feeding.
Oh my God, I don't know why he's cracking up.
Because sensory talk, it just sounds funny. It's pleasing our sight and our ear holes.
We're all very stimulated.
We're all very stimulated.
But we're all overstimulated and now like nothing is enough.
Yes,
so,
exactly.
The cynic in me is like, what can possibly be next for social media? Yes, I don't know, but exactly. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, ADHD.
It's real.
Much more.
So.
I can't.
Okay,
Anyway.
I think we've made the case for why, as business owners, we need to get on this. Practically speaking, what can we expect?
What can we expect in what way?
Like how much time does this take? How do we now integrate this? So that has been my primary block with getting out video content, is that it feels really fake for me because I feel stupid doing it. And also it takes a lot of time. And so that has been hard for me. And so I'm asking Gabe in an interview format because he's adapted, you know, to this quicker than I have. So far, the kind of video content I've done would be like editing before and afters, or, you know, it can be as simple as like taking some behind the scenes videos. Like I always show up to venues early and I'm location scouting. So doing some iPhone video footage of the space. Like I just posted a reel last weekend. I had a backyard wedding. I'm really bad at remembering to take video in the moment, but I got there early and I just did one video of the backyard wedding. And then I opened my video with that with 50 preview images, and that TikTok or that reel did really well. Not on TikTok, haven't figured that out yet. But on reels it did really well, you know, so like even just something that minorly stimulating of like, look at what your phone sees, because people are used to how things look through their phone. Yeah. So I think they like that.
Yeah.
And then next to like, here's what I got in my camera. So that's kind of how I've started utilizing it so simply. The thing that makes me resistant to all of this is now, in addition to being a photographer, I feel the pressure to be an entertainer.
Which you are.
but for some reason I can't do it when it's, you know, I don't know. So I think my next phase of kind of nailing a lot of this is figuring out how to capture the Cammie spunk in video form.
A great like transition into what, because I have the same problem. When stories came out, this is the same thing that you probably like went through, where you were like, I hate recording myself. I can't talk to my camera. Like it is the same idea, except now you're like trying to create something creative and unique. When you're talking to the camera, you're not just talking about your life.
It took me 5 years to get comfortable talking to the camera.
No, and now you got to do it even on like another level. You know?
I know.
But it's true. I just recently became comfortable with it to the point where I'm like, I realized that when I record myself, I just have no prep. I have very minimal prep, and I just record me. Normally I do better when I'm with like people that know me and know my sense of humor and can like laugh with me at the crazy stupid things that I'm saying. But I recorded, knowing all of this information, I strategically recorded a new ad for my studio, Good Times.
It's so good.
That is all on an iPhone, all recorded on an iPhone, all recorded in like a very much a TikTok style where I have captions and it's very like random and I just say whatever comes to my mind. I try to be silly.
Yeah.
And it is the most relatable ad I've ever created in my entire life. And I just allowed myself to just be stupid and be dumb and be relatable to people, you know, that might be interested in using my co-working space and stuff like that.
Yep. And it's good. It's really good.
I love it. I
hope it's out by the time this is out.
It'll be out. It's going to be out tomorrow. So.
Oh, okay, great. It's really funny.
Yeah, anyway, so being an entertainer, I just try to picture myself in like in work settings where I'm like with clients and stuff like that, I say the craziest shit all
I
the
do
time.
too. Why can't I capture that on video? I'm hilarious.
You can. You really can. But what it takes is forcing yourself to be behind the camera for a while. And you don't have to share the stuff that you're forcing yourself when you're forcing yourself to be behind the camera.
This is a
but
good
you're
point.
practicing. It's practice. Like, you weren't comfortable with stories before. Now you
true.
are, until you practiced. And you probably didn't intentionally practice it. So maybe now that's like, okay, I'm going to intentionally practice learning TikTok, learning Reels, learning how to be comfortable behind the camera in that way, how to entertain. And then also a really important thing that we need to do is like educate ourselves on what exactly is working and what they're doing, because
So, like,
TikTok is a whole other realm.
actually set the time aside.
Yes,
To
be a
learn.
consumer.
Well, okay, so something I wanted to say right away about this is if you want to get on TikTok, which you should, I recommend getting the app and starting to consume it and observe it way before you start trying to make anything. I did not do that. I got it the first time I ever used TikTok. I was like, I'm gonna get it today and make my first TikTok. And that was fine. I didn't, I just wanted to get on it right away. But I remember my first few times, actually my first few months scrolling through, I was like, what are trends? How do these work? What are people lip syncing? Like, I just didn't understand. And now I'm such a high consumer of TikTok. I get it.
Yep.
So now I feel like I could more confidently make content for it.
Right.
But I didn't at the beginning. So for any old gals and guys out there like me, I really recommend before you start making anything, just start consuming it and you'll start to get it. Like, you'll start to get the trends and what people are doing on there. And then my secondary idea to that, which do as I say, not as I do, because I don't do this. When you have a good idea on a trend, do it quickly, because I don't. I'm like, oh, that'll be so funny to make someday. And then by the time I'm like, I should make that, it's over and gone, and you would seem really old if you did it.
Yep.
You would seem really cheeky.
No, this is actually true.
I just use a TikTok word.
Did you say cheeky?
Chuggy.
Oh.
Have you seen that?
No.
It's what they're calling the millennials. Chuggy.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's funny that you say that, because I had that realization a few months ago too, where I was like,
do it like that
you just
day.
have to do it.
Yeah.
And you can think of things too. It is, when if you don't get into your own head, it's actually pretty easy to think of things that relate to different sounds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I actually did it recently, and I had a video that got like 100,000 views pretty quickly, and then it got removed for violating community guidelines.
You violated community guidelines? How?
For my first time. Because I talked about sex. But it was like in a funny way.
You can't talk about sex?
No.
Why are they so... What?
Well, enough people probably reported it.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that one about you and Michelle?
Yeah.
About, like, the Christians?
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah. It got removed.
Obviously, you and Michelle, who also you had sex with, no one.
Well, we're revealing a lot. I love it.
It's gonna happen.
This is a great conversation.
That's so funny. They don't let you... How weird of them.
I didn't even say the word, and I spelt it wrong on
is
purpose.
that why people spell it wrong?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought they were just being
Because I know that
funny.
they're like really strict about all that stuff.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Very interesting
my
stuff.
whole point was to just do things quickly. And something else as a lady I'm throwing out there, which this is again a situation of do as I say, not as I do, because I don't do this, but I should. Not worrying about like the days you get ready. So this has actually been a huge hindrance for me, is I'm like, man, I don't get ready every day. So like, but I have to like make this content or whatever. But people really like the relatability of just like showing up as you are. And a really a silly example I'm going to throw out is I watched the Taylor Swift documentary last weekend, Miss Americana. Loved it. I like her a lot, actually, after watching that. But my favorite footage of her was when she was, like, not ready, drinking wine with a friend, and, like, not very done up. And that was really telling to me, because for months I've been like, Cammie, you don't care if you're not ready. Just show up. It doesn't fucking matter. Nobody cares. Nobody cares if you look put together. Just like be as you are, and like no one cares.
Yeah.
And then I watched that, and like my favorite moments of her was when she was just like chit-chatting with the glass of wine and looked so normal. And I was like, man, that was convicting to like try to own that in my own life too.
Well, because again, it's all about relatability.
Yeah.
And everyone is who you know, what you're portraying right now. You know? So that's what does well.
Yeah.
More than ever, we're living in a culture, and like our even Gen Z specifically, like in the cultures that are growing up, are more comfortable with not being perfect. More and more comfortable with not being perfect. Well, to an extent. It's a different kind. So it's something that like we have this awesome opportunity to be so much more relatable than we could be before.
And if we use it well, it could blow up our business because we as people are what's interesting to people.
Exactly.
All photographers are the same. We're all doing the same bullshit. But like what makes us unique is who we are, and like who we are is our brand. So I recognize there's a really unique opportunity here, and I'm trying to not be resistant to it. It's just because I get in my head, and I'm the one who will rewatch my stories of me talking all day long and just fucking pick it apart.
Yeah.
I do it with this podcast. Like I listen to every episode over and over and over and over and over and be like, what can we tear apart? How did I do wrong? Whatever. Anxiety is fun. And so it's like a real conscious effort of me to be like, no one is thinking about you as much as you're thinking about yourself. No one is rewatching these videos being like, what a loser weirdo who said that one weird thing. So I'm getting way better at just like saying what I say and be like, nobody's thinking that hard about it.
Yeah.
They're not.
You have to think about it. I do this with my business too, my studio, where I'll walk it and I'm like, the walls need to be touched up with paint, like the floors look dirty.
No one would ever notice that.
No. And then I like walk into other businesses and I'm just like, oh, this place is cool.
I know.
And I've been making a point to like really study them, and I'm like, oh,
well,
if I were mine, I'd be picking it apart. That's
to like
lame.
strive for perfection.
Right.
Like that's good.
Right.
But you can't let it hold you back from action.
Right.
So anyways, this is a do as I say, not as I do, because I'm really working through a lot of anxiety around this. But people just want to see you show up as you are, and they're really not thinking about you as much. Once I've actually really settled into this has been like one of my big lessons of the last year, that like nothing matters as much as I think it does, and nobody is paying attention to me as much as I'm paying attention to myself. That has been actually pretty freeing. So like I should just be myself because I'm delightful. You know? I should just be myself because no one
are delightful.
Thanks, because no one gives a shit, you know.
Cami recently sent a video to my wife about how to do eyeliner, because Cami used to be makeup professional.
She asked me,
and Michelle asked her, but she said you have to send it though as if you're an influencer, and it was one of the most entertaining videos I've ever seen. And it's funny because Cami did this just she was
Michelle.
sending it to Michelle, her friend, you know. But I'm wondering like if you like were trying to make a silly video of doing that just publicly, if it would have been the same or not.
No, not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done the same.
See,
stuff.
you have. That's like an interesting point too.
Yeah.
It's like if you are able to record something as if you were to send it to like your friend that has the same sense of humor as you.
Well, this is the only thing that's gotten me comfortable talking on Instagram, and I'm still not even that comfortable with it. But a big turning point for me was when I got the app Marco Polo and started talking to one of my best friends, Hannah. We Marco every day, and that exercise of speaking to my camera without the validation of her on the other side, like on FaceTime or something. I'm literally just talking to my phone, seeing myself, but for the intention of speaking to her. That changed the game for me on talking to my phone. So that's a good place to start.
That is a great place to start.
Yeah. Because it's different. Don't FaceTime. That's not the same thing. Because you're seeing the real-time reaction of the person.
Yeah.
But when you're sending a Marco Polo, you're just sending... It's a free app. It's amazing. You're just sending like a video to someone and they watch it when they can. And so that practice has been huge for me. So
Well,
kind of
Snapchat,
the similar...
Isn't it?
I was never on Snapchat.
I don't have Snapchat either, but...
I think a similar idea, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
Interesting.
But anyways, I think that's a great place to start.
That is
just
a great
talking to your
place to start.
phone,
That's
talking to
brilliant.
your friends without the validation of their immediate response.
Right.
Just get used to the platform, see what people are doing.
And also practice creating videos too and using their features, because it is different. It is a different way to create content, and it's something that took me a minute to really figure out. And I wish that I just like spent time like studying it, or even like watching videos on how to create TikToks rather than just like messing around and failing and then like being bummed that I would like didn't know what I was doing.
So that's where I am.
Yeah.
So I think I need to just like take a day and like watch some YouTube videos.
And just mess with it.
Yeah.
Mess with it a ton.
Do you recommend using outside apps?
I try to create as much on TikTok as possible, but I know that that's not
Because if you're going
normal.
to dual purpose it.
Yeah, if you're going to dual purpose it, I use
Reels.
Splice, which is an app I pay like $5 a month for.
Okay.
And you can extract audio there, so you can like create videos like with audio and then take the audio off and then upload it to TikTok or Instagram and add the audio in from there. Yeah, no, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Splice is an easy app to use.
Cool.
But then, you know, TikTok is similar to Instagram where they like it when you use their features. So if you can try to create it just on those apps, technically I feel like the apps would like it better. I could just be pulling that out of my ass. I have no idea. But if TikTok is like Instagram, then they like it when you use their features.
Yeah, totally.
So, and they reward you for that.
So something that was hard for me is how long it takes to create this kind of content.
Yeah.
It does take time.
It does take time.
But you told me it's worth it if you're consistent, and it's important to reallocate time from other things that aren't bringing your business more business, or can you just like speak to that?
Yeah, so think about it from this perspective.
Because it doesn't not take time.
It takes a lot of time. So TikTok is the future of social media at this point, or it is the relevant social media platform at this point. So why would you be investing? I don't know. I just look at it from this perspective of what are all of the things that I do on social media every day, like different platforms. What are all of the things that I do to advertise? Which ones are taking up other like big chunks of my day, and can I stop doing those things and invest that time into a different platform instead? That might bring me more business. You just have to weigh out what is actually going to be more successful. And the reality is TikTok is the most popular social media platform right now. So if you aren't doing anything on it, you aren't taking advantage of it, then you're doing yourself a disservice and you're losing a lot of opportunities that you think you're getting from these other platforms that aren't doing as well for you.
So yeah, I'm a fan of outsourcing what could be done by someone else to replace that with things that could be done, that need to be done by yourself. I think I'm not a huge fan of outsourcing social media stuff, just like emailing, because I think it's really important that it comes
personal,
from you. So I am in a situation where I would rather like outsource my editing to get back 20 hours of available work a week or whatever, and put that into like creating content, talking to my couples, you know, is responding to emails, being on social media, you know, whatever. But this is, I think, I don't know, I'm still in a phase where this is stressing me out and it's overwhelming me, but I see the value and I'm like committed to trying, I think is where I'm at.
So I'm looking at my life like this right now. Like, what are the things that I do? I shoot, I do social media, and I do emails. Those are my 3 number 1 priorities as far as like my job goes.
Wow.
As much of everything else that I can outsource, I will.
I love that.
But those 3 things are the most personal things. So really I'm just doing a bunch of networking is what it is. I've created my business. I've like created it to be what it is today. And it's great. So now I'm just trying to network as much as possible.
And thinking of this, which you will hear in next week's episode, which is confusing me mentally because we recorded it first. What you'll hear next week is a little teaser. Considering these tasks part of your workday. Like, don't get annoyed that it's taking an hour or whatever, because that's work. And how cool is it that for our jobs, we can spend an hour making content and it's considered work. That's badass.
It is weird.
Consider it part of your work time. And just make time for that in your work weeks. Because it's important.
Agreed.
All right, catch me on TikTok, guys. I'm gonna do something.
Catch me on the TikTok later.
Okay. Any last thoughts on this? This is like really your domain. You're
Gen Z.
You're good at
be
this.
a consumer. That's it.
Switch your side part to the middle part. No, I'm against that. Okay.
No more skinny jeans, baggy pants, guys. Come on.
Oh God. Okay.
See you later.
Go create some shit. Bye.
Bye.